this episode, we turn to JD for another blind of whiskeys to test our palates and talk about the latest happenings in our lives. Find out what we thought on this episode of The Bourbon Hunters. But before we get started, we have some big news about a giveaway for Sonic Temple Music Festival here in Columbus, Ohio that happens May 16th through the 19th of this year. Visit our website at www.bourbonhunters.com to read about our latest giveaway and have a chance to enter and win. Thank you for taking time out of your day to join us on our hunt for great bourbon. Reward yourself and sit back, grab a pour, kick up your feet, and enjoy. Welcome to another episode of the Bourbon Hunters. I'm Dupour. I'm joined by... Holy shit, he's already in his phone. What the hell? I'm joined by...
Tyler Schaefer. You fucking kicked off way too hot there.
JD Fridges.
How did I kick off any differently than any other 205 episodes
You
we've
didn't
done?
give me a fucking
I pointed
poke.
at you.
No, you didn't give me a poke like we're starting.
Hey,
Did you hear
JD.
the intro?
No.
Just like you didn't hear it last episode. Remember, we were like 5 minutes into the episode. He's like, "Hey, are we live? Are we going to introduce us?" Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So we've got JD and Tyler. Our Michigander crew is back
best
again.
crew.
It's a crew. It is a crew.
We're the hot dog with the Coney dog crew.
It is a crew. So we got a nice little
Coney
review
Island.
from Sanch D, or Sanch D maybe. Sanch D. We're trying to class it up. I stuck my pinky out when I said that. So it's either Sanch D without the pinky or Sanch D with the pinky.
It must be Italian.
Yeah.
French.
Fragile. Mentioned that he likes our blind flight episodes. He said, keep them coming, guys. Oh, I assume it's a he. It could be a she, I guess. Sanch could be Sanchez. It could be
whatever you want to be.
Sancharino. It could be Sanchaletta.
Sanchaletta. That's got a good ring to it.
It does, actually. I'm not going to say it moved, but...
It's like a Pepperidge Farm Sausalito.
Sausalito. All right, so we're doing a blind flight tonight. JD brought us in a blind of 4 different whiskeys. I'm not going to commit to bourbons yet because I don't know if that's the case, but 4 different whiskeys.
I don't even know.
He doesn't even know. That's good. That's good that the guy who's running the blind and participating doesn't know, because that'll leave no biases on the table. So when Tyler's done browsing his phone or whatever the hell he was doing when I did the introduction, we'll get started into this thing.
Trina sent me a porn, so...
Oh, did she? Was it of her and I from last night? Or was it the one where she was... Oh.
Friday Night Pegging.
It's the one where she was holding the camera and it was me and Jillian.
Yeah.
Friday Night
Me and
Pegging.
Jillian. Oh. Yeah, we didn't... Tony, the normal cameraman, wasn't available, so Trina volunteered.
Did you have Jillian?
TV Tony?
Did you have Jillian take Carter to that doctor I sent you?
Yeah. He's world class.
He is world class. His hands are huge.
Ginormous.
It was weird that he didn't need Carter to be at the appointment.
Yeah, it's really strange.
All right, so what do we got here? What do we?
Yellow.
We're starting with yellow. 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 Is anybody there?
Yellow. And you don't have to pour the whole thing, Tyler, if you just want to take some home.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Mr. I'm already half in the bag, guys. All right. I'm going to pour out all of mine and not do it in Tyler style. I'm going to do it in a way where I keep track of them so I know which ones they are.
I can't even talk shit on that.
That was the funniest thing.
We dogged up all your...
He mixed up all his lids, is what happened.
I used to shop there a lot.
Lids?
Lids?
That sounds about right.
I mean, they had good hats.
I never wore hats.
Are they still a place?
I don't know.
They are.
Are they? Or did you say New Barrel? What did you say?
No, they are.
Oh, no, they are. Okay.
No, they are.
All right. So we've got yellow. I don't want to know anything about any of these. So let's start nosing this bad boy and see what we got going on here. So what's going on with you guys? Anything new since last week when I saw you when we talked about we finished up our Larceny series?
That was a good series.
Just getting ready for put the house up for sale.
Yeah. So when are you supposed to move into the new house?
Not until the end of April, early May.
So you got some time.
Yeah.
You need boxes for bottles, don't you?
Yep, I need all
Is there an
sorts of boxes.
Oh shoot, I just threw some out today.
I need boxes.
I did let
for
Lorenzo
bottles,
know today.
Boxes for Other stuff, boxes to put my wiener, all of it.
What I'm just ignoring that last one, but what's the expectation on the sale turnaround time for your house?
What do you mean?
Has your realtor, or as you would say, realtor,
Realtor.
given you a time as to expectation as to when you put it on the market to when it will sell?
That weekend.
You think like in a week?
Yeah.
So, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll probably get offers accepted, go into contract within the week.
Now that's what the realtor has told you?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay.
Realtor.
Yeah, there's no extra vowel in there. It's just realtor.
Realtor.
No, realtor.
No, it's not realtor. There's no letter between the L and the T. It's just realtor.
Tomato, tomato.
Yeah, that one I'll accept because you're not adding letters. You're not adding letters. I've never heard potato, but I'll take potato. You're still not adding letters. With realtor, you're adding letters. That's all.
Syllables.
Syllables. You put the emphasis on the wrong syllable. All right, we've got yellow. This means nothing to any of you at this moment.
No.
We've got yellow.
Light nose.
It is light, but it's got some sweetness to it. And
it's like a light fruit.
And I feel like there's a deep sweetness. I don't know if that even makes sense, but I feel like there's a depth to the sweetness that I can't get to until I taste it.
Yeah.
I cannot even believe that we lost Tyler on the intro. We weren't even 10 seconds into the episode.
I believe it.
Like, come on.
Well, I was already on my phone and you just fucking started.
I said, here we go. And then you went, boom, into your phone.
Did you go up and reheat any of that pizza from last week?
No.
That was still in the fridge?
See, that's why we don't notice this when Brett's here, because I normally introduce Brett first. And then I think Tyler comes out of it like, oh, we're doing this? And then he knows to introduce himself.
Remember the Bourbon Blitz when you were doing the intro from the other end of the table and Tyler was the first one to say his name?
Oh, he was so excited. He was so excited. It was his birthday.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to be ready for that one. That one's okay.
It was a little premature.
I'll give you that one. I mean, just like everything else you do.
Yeah.
When you're paying attention. It's always premature when you're paying attention.
Margaret Thatcher naked on a cold night.
That's why Jillian's always calling.
Yeah.
Listen, I need something that's longer than 3 seconds. Come on. Okay, I'll give you
4.
5. I can give you 5, but that's the best I got.
5 seconds. I'm happy. You're not.
Hey. Never mind. I was going to say this tongue doesn't finish in 5 seconds. But never mind. I won't say that. I won't say that.
Drink your fucking bourbon.
I won't say that. God, the people listening right now, we're 7 minutes in. They would have to think that we've already been drinking. Like at this point.
We pre-gamed a little bit.
Yeah, by doing last week's episode.
Barrel proofs.
Yeah, we might have. We might have already recorded an episode.
So if this goes off the rails, it's all due to a bad review.
So 6 minutes and 25 seconds ago when it went off the rails. You mean?
So when I said the pizza was from last week, it was from tonight.
Yes. All right. What do you get on the nose?
I'm already on the
light.
palate.
It's light. I get a little cinnamon.
Fortunately, I know what this is.
Do you?
I do. We shouldn't have started with yellow.
Let's go to purple.
Too late. I just took a drink. Oh, that's good. It's good. It's everything I thought it would be.
I don't think Tyler knows what any of these are.
He does.
I do know the yellow. I remember it.
Okay. What do you think the yellow is?
It's 101. It's the Maker's Mark 101.
Good call.
Ding, ding.
Ding, ding. All right, so much for the blind. We've already thrown that out the window.
So, in all seriousness, we were going to have a Wild Turkey 12 year.
And it didn't get delivered in time.
And so I tried to pre-plan and have a couple 101 proofers to maybe do blind against knowing what that one was.
Right, which was a good call. It's a good call. But the 101 didn't show up.
Yes.
I'm a little disappointed in that. And it was a 12-year Wild Turkey 101. I was really excited. It said it was going to show up on Friday.
Fancy box.
And then it said it was going to show up the following Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yes, because...
Which you'll be out of town.
Yeah, I will be. Trina will be here.
Oh, good.
or Brylan. Someone will be here. There will be someone here. All right. I like this. I do get cinnamon. I always find Maker's Mark, and I haven't done it this year, but I always find Maker's Mark a good winter bourbon. Mm-hmm. I love it because that cinnamon's a little warming. It's not overpowering. I don't feel like it's fake cinnamon like Brett doesn't like. But it's a good, soft, spicy, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
And but it's got a little bit of a warmth to it because of that. I don't know what it is about that 101. I always get the cinnamon warmth to the Maker's 101, and I really enjoy that in the winter.
I've had this bottle for 3 years, and every winter I forget to open it until this winter.
Yeah. If you remember, Maker's 101 used to be an exclusive to the distillery or to, I think, to Kentucky, and they used to be in 1 liter bottles. Mm-hmm. And now they're available widely in their 750 milliliters.
Comes in a little red box.
Yeah. 750 milliliter as opposed to the 1 liter, which it used to be. Mm-hmm. And I think it was funny when it first came out, you couldn't find them anywhere. Because everyone was like, "Oh my God, this is something new," and everyone was. But now they're just sitting on the shelf, which is good. Yeah. Because this is a good go-to. You know what else is sitting on the shelf from Maker's Mark that never could be found? Maker's 46 cask strength.
Oh yeah.
Cask strength.
You walk in and they're all over the place.
Yes. The same Giant Eagle that we talked about last week has them just sitting on an end cap.
Could this batch be not as good as batch 1?
No, it's not that. It's just that they've now produced it in a way that it's available.
Because batch 1 was in the fancy bottle with the shoulders.
Yeah, but here's the other thing too. I think there's so many LTOs happening now.
Yeah.
Every time you turn around, there's a new brand, a new LTO, something, and I feel like people just can't keep up with their regular shelfers. And so things that are like Maker's Mark 46 cask strength, and that we were talking about the Heaven Hill bottled and bond last week. That's another example of one that's now able to be found on the shelves. Maker's 101. That's also sometimes it's just the fact that it went past its real quick surprise of being available because it didn't used to be available in a certain state or a certain region, or maybe it was only Kentucky only for a long time. And I think that novelty wears off when it's not an LTO. You know what I mean?
I had to break the news to Lorenzo that the Traveler is not going to be something he can flip.
Did he think it was?
I think
because of Chris Stapleton?
I broke the news to him when he's like, I got it back up here. I'm probably going to try and turn it. And I said, they're in all the OHLQs.
Sitting on the floor.
Because it's like Barton and Canadian blend.
Yep. Yeah, and which Barton is 1792.
Sazerac owns Buffalo Trace.
Owned by Sazerac, and then I think they've added their own Sazerac Canadian whiskey to it, which could be good Canadian whiskey.
I mean, Caribou's good.
Yeah, I mean Tyler hates it, but they have other
it's
Canadian
like sausage
whiskey
and
too,
maple
right?
syrup.
Yeah, I didn't think it was bad. It's not anything with depth.
No,
but I don't think any Canadian whiskey is.
No.
It's like Irish whiskey, and it's like you've got to get the cask strength. Like Redbreast, 12-year cask strength is really good.
Mm-hmm. I've heard.
But most Irish whiskeys are just, it's almost like an echo of bourbon is kind of how I look at it. It's almost like an echo of bourbon.
What's the high age Redbreast? 23.
There's a
27.
I think there's a 27 and a 23.
That one
maybe.
Gets crazy notes on it in reviews, but it's also like
$500.
$500.
It has to sit in a barrel for 27 years to get any notes out of the used bourbon barrel. It's a used bourbon barrel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do you expect?
So I mean, that's why most likely the bourbon requires that it has to be a new unused bourbon or a barrel, because they want you to get those notes. They want you to get those sugars out of the charred insides of the barrel that are taken for the most part by bourbon, and then you give it to Ireland or Scotland for Irish whiskey or Scotch, and it just isn't. It's going to take longer to age.
Is Macallan Irish too, or is that Scotch?
I think Macallan. I think anything's Scotch, I believe.
Highland.
I think it's Scotch, yeah.
Tullamore Dew and
Jameson.
Jameson.
And Redbreast are both big. Redbreast is probably my favorite Irish whiskey.
Okay.
I enjoy Redbreast. But yeah, and Jameson's okay too. Like, I don't dislike Jameson. In fact, I like Irish whiskey better than I like Scotch for the most part. I just don't get that old Band-Aid tin. That's the peat,
oh boy, Islay.
The Islay, but it's not just Islay that does it. I was watching a couple of Scotch documentaries on Tubi, and they're actually really good documentaries. But it doesn't make the Scotch taste any better.
Yeah.
Oh.
But there's some good Scotch.
What's Tubi?
Tubi's a free streaming network.
Mm-hmm.
That's where Neat is now. You have to watch it on Tubi now. But it has commercials.
Speaking of, we just switched from Spectrum. We went Verizon Wi-Fi. We went YouTube TV.
YouTube TV is fantastic.
I've been on YouTube TV for like 5 years.
Yeah.
And we've added Apple TV.
How do you like Ted Lasso so far?
I'm hooked.
It's a great first season.
You've only watched one episode.
Yes.
To be fair.
I've watched 3 episodes of Masters of the Air.
How is that?
Oh my God.
God, I can't. I've been waiting because here's the thing that Apple does that I don't like. Amazon does the same thing. Hulu does the same thing.
One at a time.
Well, they release 2 or 3 right away to get you hooked, and then they release it 1 a week.
Mm-hmm.
That sucks.
No, it's a Spielberg,
Netflix,
right?
I think Spielberg's connected. He might just be the producer. I don't know if he's the director, but he might even be the director.
It's fucking awesome.
But it's like it goes back to Band of Brothers, and what was the other one they did that was
Fury? Maybe
no,
it's a movie.
it was a TV show.
MASH.
No, there was 2 TV shows that came out at the same time. Band of Brothers and one other. Band of Brothers was the Eastern, European. What do they call that? It's almost like a drama word.
Ted Lasso.
Shut the fuck up. There's a drama like for plays. It's the Eastern. It was the Eastern. They used it in war. It was a word to describe the location. It was the Eastern versus the Western. Anyway,
Hemisphere.
No, it's not hemisphere. that has nothing to do with fucking plays. A play, like something you would see on a stage.
Like Shakespeare.
Right. There's a word that goes in both...
port and starboard.
Oh, fucking fuck. I swear to God, you guys have been drinking way too much. How am I the only... I feel like I've had bigger pours than both of you.
Anyway, one thing that I've pretty far into on Netflix is Griselda Blanco, and that's really, really good.
So anyway, it was the Eastern, like European war with Germany and all that was Band of Brothers. Back then, they also did one that was for the Pacific. And it was like the battle against Japan, and I can't remember what that one was
Okinawa?
called. It wasn't called Okinawa. It wasn't called Hiroshima. It was like Band of Brothers. It had a name similar to that, but it was for that specific area. Anyway,
Pearl Harbor.
this one is specific to the flying in the Air Force.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
it's the only one.
They followed the Air Battalion.
Yeah, I think it's the only war series that specifically follows everything in the air.
Yeah, right. That's the whole point of it.
Yeah.
No U-boats. No.
My point is the 2 that came before this, they were just specifically about the war in Europe and the war in the Pacific.
But even
not
other
about the air or the ground. It was just about the war.
Yeah,
in the
but
Pacific.
even other war, shows typically are not about the air. The only thing I can slightly remember was the Pearl Harbor one.
Yeah, with Ben Affleck and
It was a good movie.
Josh Hartnett.
Yeah, and Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise was not in that, but
No.
But Top Gun.
Top Gun.
Yeah.
Maverick. And
That
Val
wasn't
Kilmer.
really about a war though. That was more about training.
Is Val Kilmer really talking through his
Yeah.
throat?
Have you not seen the? They're on Amazon Prime. There is a documentary called Val.
Okay.
Outstanding. 100% worth the watch.
Okay.
He is one of the most misunderstood actors of all time, in my opinion.
Okay.
He is a great actor. He seems like he's a great guy. He had throat cancer or something.
Okay.
And he had a tracheotomy. If you watch the Val documentary, And what's interesting about the Val documentary is he made it himself. And he's been filming his whole career.
No kidding.
Like he had a camera back when he was doing like Real Genius and stuff.
Wow, a good
Real
movie.
Genius.
And so he's been recording all of his just behind the scenes stuff of himself, his life, all the way back to then. And it's all in this documentary, and they really do a great job on this documentary. And they started in like now, and then they cut back to all these different things. And I tell you what, if you like Val Kilmer, if you like any of the movies he's done, if you've heard any of the stories about him being a hard to work with actor or anything like that, watch the documentary. It is so good.
So I liked him in The Saint. I liked him in
The Saint
Batman.
is such an overlooked movie. The Saint is so good. And you know, Elizabeth Shue, she's my one actress from like Adventures in Babysitting, Cocktail, The Saint. She was in CSI recently, like before it like went to the new CSI Vegas. She is it. She is my one.
When I was growing up, it was Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Oh yeah, Jennifer Love Hewitt was. I straddled both of those time frames.
Okay,
you're not that much younger.
Not
than
that
me.
much.
Jennifer Love Hewitt is. She was. Whew, yeah. Mm-hmm.
She doesn't.
Party of Five, and
she's
then
recently spoken out about how she can't stand the fact that like she was sexualized when she was growing up.
I'm
on
like,
screen
shut up. That's the only reason you even had a career.
Yeah.
Like seriously, I'm not being an ass, but like, she's not an amazing actress. Like there are plenty of actresses I can name that are great actresses. And then there's plenty of actresses I can name that are probably famous because they were attractive.
Justin Verlander's wife is one of them.
But my point is don't rip the reason you got rich and famous.
Yeah.
Like that's why you're rich and famous.
Now you're talking about it?
You were attractive, you had a set of boobs, you weren't that great of an actress. You really weren't. Like, I'm sorry, but you weren't that great of an actress. So there's a reason why you became famous and rich. I mean, and so if that's what it is, then that's what it is. Now, if you got into it because you didn't think that's what it was, and then it took you 20 years in the industry to realize that's why you became famous, I could maybe feel a little bad for you then, you know, if you thought it was all wholesome and all this stuff. But come on, I mean, it's Hollywood, and your parents at least should have been there to give you some guidance.
You weren't the Olsen twins and working with Bob Saget.
You're not Blake Lively.
I don't know what that means because Bob Saget's one of the dirtiest old men you would have ever met.
I mean, like the Olsen twins being young and, you know, when they were acting, working with this man who was supposed to be wholesome, but he's really the raunchiest fucking man
I was
in
going to
the
say,
world.
There's no one in the industry that thought he was supposed to be wholesome. Because
but Danny Tanner, people look at him
right,
not
Danny
knowing.
Tanner, sure. And that's the irony of the industry, because if you ever looked, he became very famous on Full House, but he already had an established stand-up comedy career. And he is dirty as shit. Like was, I should say. He's no longer with us, but he was raunchy. And did you ever watch Entourage?
Yes.
He played a caricaturized version of himself, but I would say he was closer to playing himself in Entourage than anything Danny Tanner ever was.
Yeah.
Because he was a raunchy guy. His jokes were horribly dark, and they were funny. He was a good comedian, but they were dark and raunchy and very, very, like, his character in fucking Entourage is probably the closest thing to.
Well, he knew how raunchy he was too, because when he did his roast, he basically said no Olsen twin jokes. Like, he had to lay it out. Like, nothing about Mary-Kate and Ashley.
That's funny.
I'm surprised people listened to him.
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't have listened to anyone else.
Yeah, that's true.
If it was a role reversal.
Are you guys on purple now?
No, I'm on
I haven't
yellow.
done anything.
You haven't had anything to drink.
Just other than the yellow.
That's what I mean. We're on the purple.
Yeah, I said I haven't done anything else.
Oh, I'm going to purple.
You're going to purple now, huh?
Yeah.
So what do you think of yellow, though?
I mean, I think we all think it's good.
Yeah.
I like.
You like it better than the standard makers?
It depends. I Makers is an easy sipper. I'm never offended by it. I'm never going to be upset if someone has it at their bar and that's all they have. Like if I go to like we've talked about this in the past. I've gone to events where all they've had was Maker's Mark, and I was fine with that. That doesn't bother me. Or I've been to an event where all they had was Jack Daniel's Black Label. I didn't care about that either. That doesn't bother me. Like Maker's Mark 101. I think if I had to put it, gun to my head, I'd probably rather have Maker's Mark 101. But Maker's is just fine. I mean, obviously they've been doing something for years, right? So I mean,
I asked that because, like Old Forester, I prefer the 100 signature to the 86.
Yeah,
this is good.
Right. The 100 is. I mean, they don't put that word signature on there for nothing.
You like the purple, Tyler?
Oh yeah, I think it's pretty good.
I think you've had it once before.
Nose is a little. Can't really get it.
Might have been a couple years since you had it. Maybe sooner. I don't know. But you've had it before.
So you're on the purple, huh?
Yeah, I'm not slacking like you.
We were just having a wholesome Danny Tanner conversation.
Right. That's all.
So, like Val Kilmer, going back to him, I put him in the same category as like Michael Keaton as far as actors go and roles that they pick. It's just really out there, obscure.
Well, Michael Keaton wasn't that way until that Birdman movie.
That was wild.
But he hadn't picked anything weird or obscure until
White
then.
Noise. Oh no, he did the villain in the Spider-Man movie. That was after too.
Yeah, that was after. Like all of his stuff was all wholesome growing up. Like as through his career, Gung Ho,
Batman,
and Mr. Mom, Batman. Like all of his stuff was very low key and very safe, if you ask me.
Okay.
Val Kilmer is the exact opposite. He took on roles that no one else would have ever taken on. Like that, what was the Island of Dr. Moreau?
Oh, yeah.
Like that was crazy weird.
That was really out there.
And ended up becoming, almost like an urban legend type movie of like bullshit of like, what was the guy's name that was the main character in there, or the most famous guy in that movie that was from Marlon Brando?
Yes.
Marlon Brando was like, they're supposedly, he was so crazy in that movie that they had a stand-in double play him in parts of the movie, and he's so make-upped up in that movie that you don't even notice.
Wow.
That they had it's almost like, did you ever see the movie Pure Country with George Strait?
Mm-mm.
Oh, God. You got to see that movie, first off.
Okay.
A lot of the songs you love from George Strait.
Amarillo?
Probably, well, no, but I'm just saying, a lot of songs that you like and love from George Strait came from that movie.
Oh, okay.
Amarillo is not one of them.
I like that song, though.
No. He's got a lot of great songs. So, like, he's got a shit ton of great songs. But I bet you there's 10 songs from that movie that you've heard and like. Because he did the soundtrack from that movie, and he was in the movie.
Doesn't surprise me.
All right.
Purple on the nose is way better than that Maker's 101 on the nose.
Yeah, I get a ton of bubble gum.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm like almost all bubble gum.
Holy smokes, that's big bubble gum.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when I took a drink of it just now, it was a little softer on the tongue than I was expecting. I think coming from the one that was a lot of cinnamon, which we just came from, this one doesn't have as much of an impact on the palate for me right away.
Mm-mm.
It's not bad. I'm enjoying this so far, but it is definitely.
That's really it's strange how previous drink can influence that next one, even if
sure.
it's
The order of which you do your blind can make a huge difference, especially if one's really spicy and the next one's not, but it has some subtle things. You might not even pick them up because of how spicy the one before was.
Hot honey pizza before drinking.
Right. That just ruined our palate. That was horrible.
It's a really good nose. Brett would hate it.
I'm getting some other stuff too, like maybe even a little bit of mint in the nose now that I've had a couple drinks. But it's like almost like afterthought. Like bubble gum with like maybe a hint of mint at the very end.
I can see that.
All right. So I'm definitely getting some almost like mint leaf now on the palate.
That's tasty. I get almost like an anise too.
A what?
That might be what it is that I'm tasting.
A what?
Anise,
What's that?
black licorice.
That could be instead of mint. That might be what I'm getting.
Interesting.
I remember my grandma making me anise cookies.
That sounds
Very close to anise.
no, it sounds awful. I don't like black licorice, so that's why.
No, but so the extract, you can make it as strong or not as strong as you want, and she always made them on the lighter side. So it was just a hint of anise on the cookie, and it was
So
really good.
my mom, she wouldn't make licorice and she wouldn't make cookies, but she would make hard candy.
Okay.
And she would make a licorice hard candy, black licorice hard candy. My dad loved black licorice.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so. Have you ever had hard candy?
Oh yeah.
So like
Like a Jolly
usually,
Rancher.
Well, but usually hard candy, homemade hard candy, usually has like a powdered sugar on it,
Yeah.
like a confectioner sugar. That's actually kind of what I'm getting here. It's
Oh,
almost like a
okay.
confectioner sugar, like homemade hard candy type of feel.
JD, what's going on in your world?
Well, the golf course is opening on the 12th of March, so we're
My birthday
ramping
is
up.
March 20th, which is a Wednesday.
It's good to know.
It's a
Glad
Wednesday.
I know that.
It's a Wednesday.
Are you excited for it?
For what? The golf opening or his birthday?
Both.
Not
Either
his
one.
birthday.
No, he's
Your
excited.
birthday is this Wednesday?
No.
What the fuck? How?
12th.
Like
20th.
Are you on like satellite delay? You have a weird filter going
No,
on. You're like my wife. You only hear half of what I say.
If filter as in I'm not listening to you, I'm listening
That's what
to
I'm
JD
saying.
because JD's actually talking right now. So that's why I'm
I
listening
was
to JD.
actually talking.
No,
as
you
well.
interrupted.
No, he said they
You
opened.
interrupted.
He said so. Here's how the conversation went. He said they opened the golf course on March 12th, and I said, "Oh, my birthday's March 20th." And he says, "Oh,
You interrupted.
And
I
then
didn't. I just added to the
You
conversation."
And then you
That's
said
interrupted.
your
No, 'cause
birthday's
he answered your-
Wednesday.
Hold on.
You added to the conversation.
Hold on. So
I'm adding to the conversation.
He answered
Adding to the conversation.
He answered your question, March 12th,
But then he was going to talk about it.
and I said, "Oh, my birthday's the 20th."
Don't care. Why.
That's how conversations work. One person says something, another person responds with something that might be interesting to some people and not interesting to others. Obviously not interesting to you because you thought that meant that my birthday was this Wednesday.
Anyway, JD.
I love how he tries to continuously win conversations with me and arguments, and it just doesn't happen.
Anyway, JD.
So yeah, we're fine tuning our finishing touches on our. Well, what we do is we all winter long we redo tee markers and strip them down, repaint them, make them fresh, and ball washers and water cooler stations and.
Do the members volunteer their wives?
No,
So how do you get the ball washers there?
I came home from work one day and I told my wife that I got fired because I put my dick in the ball washer, and because I heard the joke one time, it didn't go over well. she goes, what happened to the ball washer? She got fired too.
I was like, please tell me this didn't go over your head, but you were right there with me. Okay, you were right there with me. Okay, that's good. She got fired too.
She got fired.
That's funny. That's actually pretty good.
And then, so yeah, we're about to get flooded with golf.
So March 12th, will you have a 100% full tee times that day?
Probably not.
Really?
Depends on the weather.
Well, but let's just say it's a nice day.
Yeah, we'll have full tee times. Yeah,
Full tee times.
we
So
probably
like the first day back, if it's a nice day, you guys are going to be.
we'll be
That
on,
fucking
on the ground
sucks.
running. We actually have
that's what, a Tuesday?
more golfing memberships. Yeah, it
Is that
should
a
be
Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Yeah.
More golfing memberships than we should have, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
More than last year?
No, it'll be about the same. But so, like with country clubs, you have a constant rollover where you're supposedly losing some members and gaining members, and
Yeah.
you're trying to stay full.
They probably treat it like a telephony model too, where in a neighborhood they'll put in, there's 20 houses, they'll only put in 10 telephony lines because they know that not all 20 are going to be on the phone at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is why when something horrible happens like 9/11 or whatever, everyone goes to grab their phone back in landline days and they try to dial out and they can't get a signal because there's too many people already connected.
Yep. So it's a constant fight for tee times. You got to book out 2 weeks in advance.
And we're 2 weeks in advance right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this Tuesday anyway.
So you just have to grab a tee time and hope it's good weather.
You just got to book your tee time or book a couple tee times.
Do you
and-
get penalized as a member if you cancel a tee time?
No.
I mean, you're paying that fee, and it's not cheap.
So they don't care. Like it, yeah, you're not paying per.
What if you cancel an hour before your tee time?
You're fine.
They don't. There's
Somebody
no
will
point where
fill
they
it.
get upset.
No,
Okay.
somebody will fill it.
Really
Yeah.
interesting.
Or they'll smush the next group up into that slot and kind of keep dragging that open one down a little bit until they fill it. Our location, our club within the umbrella of Arcus Golf, we bring in about top 5 profits per year of 75 plus golf courses.
Really,
They pull a lot out of our club.
that's good.
And it kind of makes up for some of the other ones that are still trying to get there because we're constantly buying golf courses, so they're not always pulling a profit.
Yeah. Sure.
That's interesting.
But the investors have to take their cut too.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, what do we think about this purple as far as the
I like it.
flavor? Not just, we said the nose, but what do you think of the flavors?
I feel like it's a little muted from the previous pour.
Yeah, I think so a little bit. But that's what I wonder. Like when we were talking at the beginning of this, how much of that is because there was such extreme flavors, and when I say extreme, like cinnamon's kind of an extreme flavor.
It just really surprises me.
Because you know what this is.
I do know what this one is.
Right. It doesn't surprise me only because of the order in which we've done this. It was, Maker's Mark 101 is cinnamon heavy, and that's a strong flavor to follow up in a blind.
Yeah.
And I promise you, if you did Maker's Mark 101 and a blind full of like similarly proofed items, if you did Maker's Mark 101, it's going to mute a decent amount of stuff afterwards. Just because it's the cinnamon, it's got a strong flavor to it, and it's good. But it's like Old Granddad. If you did Old Granddad 114 before, because it's got a strong cinnamon note too. It's another great winter pour. If you did that before some other things that were nuanced and subtle with their flavors, but really deep, you might miss some of them because of coming right after Old Granddad 114.
I don't want to be coming after Old Granddad at all.
Well, you'd rather come before him?
No.
I mean, come on now. He's going to go down as a legend.
Yeah, I kind of put Maker's 101 in that realm of where I might mistaken it for OWA because of where it hits you.
I mean, it could. But same with Old Granddad 114 and things like that. Now that's not a weeder.
No.
But it's got that same kind of like profile to it, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. It's a good pour, Old Granddad 114, if you can find it.
Oh, it's available
Harder.
all over the place.
Is it?
Yeah. Like the same Giant Eagle that we go to has it just sitting on the shelf.
Nice.
And then where I went to yesterday to find the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof A124, and the person in front of me bought the last one, they had like 4 of them sitting on the shelf.
You think that the age statement is scaring people because of C923 being 13 years, and they're like, oh, this was 10 years.
I think they've proven that they can have a 9-year. I think that's what I mean. That private barrel Elijah Craig Barrel Proof program that they've started in the last couple of years has proven that you can find some really nice Elijah Craig Barrel Proof 9-year stuff. And when it says 9 years, that doesn't mean that it's all 9 years, because the barrel proofs are batched. You could have a 9-year, one barrel, and the whole batch might be 9 years, and they have to say it's 9 years.
Right.
Everything else could be 13 or 14 years. I'm just... Yeah, I just think that's misleading.
Jumping into the next one?
Ooh. Don't mind if I do.
Don't mind if I do.
All right, so what do we got here? We got blue.
Blue.
You're my boy, Blue.
You're my boy, blue.
Good nose. That's good.
Sounds like you just took a sip of like 7-Up or something.
That's good. I like that aftertaste a lot.
Did you already take a drink of it?
Yeah. My nose isn't functioning great, so
I get bubblegum on this one again.
you'll get it on the palate.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep. JD, what else is going on in your world? Anything fun at home? Trips planned?
No trips planned at the moment. Wife will have to go to Boston here shortly for a couple of days.
For work?
Yeah, she works remotely for a hospital in Boston.
Nice.
Doing
Your
IT.
wife works remotely for a hospital in Boston.
Yeah, she writes programs, physician billing, routing, and all kinds of stuff I don't understand.
Yeah.
That's
But
my world, Tiger.
so does she have to go often?
No, once a year.
Nice.
Maybe twice, but once.
That's crazy that they couldn't find a person in Boston to do IT for their...
Ever since COVID, they are willing to hire from anywhere. She used to work for OSU Wexner, and but they gave her a raise of the size of my yearly salary at the time to
Nice.
go over there.
So they gave her a $15,000 a year raise?
Yeah.
Tyler didn't even catch that. Fucking Tyler.
Did you do all the maintenance on your mowers?
We have an excellent mechanic. Pat is one of a kind.
Really?
Yep. He also does all of the maintenance inside of the clubhouse on the boiler and pretty much anywhere in there that they need something.
Nice. What makes him so good as a mechanic?
I think his personality has a lot to do with it. I've met a lot of grumpy, grouchy mechanics who are just hard to be around, and their work shows that they're that person too sometimes.
Sure.
But he's just, if you ask him how he's doing, he's going to say living the dream. That's just his saying.
Yeah, AK wants to fucking shoot his head out.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
We have fun. I joke with him all the time. Always got a dad joke for him, and he's like, "Oh boy."
Trying to figure out what I want for my new place.
You want a mechanic for your place?
No, lawnmower. What kind of mower I want?
I mean, if you're talking equipment, I always go red. Toro.
I know. So,
How big's your yard going to be?
half acre.
I'm gonna put my bike in it.
Just enough that I don't really feel like.
You need too much machinery.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I'll either need to get a bigger walk behind, which the price of those are pretty much the price of a low-end residential zero turn. But I did see Bad Boy Mowers has a highly rated residential zero turn.
You fucker. Not fucking cool, man. It's actually not bad, though.
What do you think it is?
To be honest, I don't know. Based on what you announced as being stuff that you thought would be close in proof to 101.
So no, we're getting away from that.
That's what I was thinking. I was like,
No.
I think this is Jack Daniel's
So
rye.
I plan for 2 different types of things.
I think this is Jack Daniel's rye.
Do you want to know now if you're right?
No way.
No, I don't.
'Cause that color on the other one looks awful dark.
Yeah, well, I can't see color on any of them because they're brown fucking bottles.
I don't see color.
You didn't pour it in the glass?
You're such a douchebag. This is either I know this is so weird, but this is either Jack Daniel's rye or this is Old Forester barrel strength.
I'm going to say Old Forester.
But it doesn't. I'm going to be upset if it's Old Forester barrel strength because I'm not.
Tastes like Old Forester barrel strength. To me. I could be wrong. Probably wrong.
No, you're right. That's what this is. This is Old Forester barrel strength.
Thanks. I'm right.
It came off for some reason. I think it's because we came from the wheat. I don't know what the next one is, but we came from wheat, then had something that was kind of subtle in flavor. It didn't come off very strong. I think probably because of just coming from the makers. And then the rye spice I think made me think it was rye. And then I had 2 quick more drinks, and I feel like this is the Old Forester barrel strength probably. And the only reason I know that he had them out on the table.
Just for our listeners, this is like
Half blind.
Half blind. We know what the bottles are.
We know what some of the bottles could be. There were more bottles than what are in this blind.
Yes.
So we know what the bottles possibly could be. And that is
We
if
just
we
don't know
remember.
order.
Do you even remember the bottles that were out on the table?
I do.
All of them? Let's see if you
yes.
remember. Let's see what your recall is. Go.
So it is Maker's Mark 101, Master Keep 1, Old Forester
Barrel strength.
The next one was Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof Rye. The next one was what is that? No, I know that rare breed, but I just is that
only
5? Okay, so it's rare breed rye, yeah.
Yeah.
So if I had to guess,
first one was Maker's Mark 101. The second one was the Toasted Barrel Master's Keep 1. The third one was...
Yeah, we're just having them in order.
Yeah. The third one, in my opinion, would be the Barrel Strength Old Forester. But I haven't had the last one yet, so we'll see what that could be. I have a feeling the last one's going to be one of the ryes. I already had a feeling that I've had enough of the Master's Keep 1.
Yeah, a lot of feelings.
I have a lot of feelings. But I've had a lot of the Master's Keep 1 that I thought that was most likely what that was when we tasted it.
When you have it before you have something like Maker's Mark 101, there's a lot of flavor to it.
Yeah. We got drunk on that. We had a bottle kill episode 3 years ago on a Master's Keep 1. That was the year Brett couldn't go with us, and we bought a bottle in his name and drank the shit out of it.
Didn't you grab a guy from the parking lot?
We did. That was to get Brett an actual bottle. Mm-hmm. So the one we got drunk on was the one Tyler decided he didn't want to get.
Oh, yeah. So you got it.
Tyler didn't buy it, so he bought it for me, and then I paid him.
But it wasn't for Brett. It was, you got it for Brett, but it was me, you, and Jeff.
Yeah, it was one way or another. We bought a bottle for Brett, and we had to get someone.
Ooh, I'm getting the upchuck. That's one. That last bottle is 100% Old Forester.
Yeah, we had to enlist someone to get a bottle for Brett, one way or another. Mm-hmm. And we had made the decision once we found someone to do that. As soon as we did that, we decided that other bottle was going to be used for the barrel kill.
Nice.
Or bottle kill. And boy, was that was a fun, drunken night. And then we went and ate our ass weight in freaking steak and pasta.
Yeah.
It was steak and pasta. It wasn't just steak, remember? We had steak.
It was bread. It was everything.
It was a weird steak and pasta
Where did you
combo.
find steak and pasta after the bottle kill?
In Bardstown.
There's a
really
steakhouse.
Good steakhouse that used to be some sort of like museum or something.
So did you record earlier in the night than we did?
We recorded first and got drunk and then went and ate.
Shit-faced.
And we had to have been jackasses at dinner. We had to have been.
Because we recorded at 8 o'clock.
Yeah. So it wasn't so it's a steakhouse, but it was a little
They
bit.
had a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Like pasta, you could get a pasta as a side dish. I remember I had steak with pasta as a side dish. We ate so much bread, trying to soak up
I'm gonna see if I
whatever we could. It was so good.
Breadsticks, keep them coming.
It was so good.
And so they're known for their steaks can be cut with a butter knife, and I didn't know that. And I'm sitting down and I'm like, holy fuck, this steak's so tender you can cut it with a butter knife. And they're like, yeah, that's
That's what we're known for.
that's what they're known for.
But we didn't know anything about the place. We just knew it was the only like real steakhouse in Bardstown. So we were just like, all right, let's do it.
And it was fantastic too.
It was so good. You're right. It was 100%.
We originally tried to go to what? Mammy's?
Yeah, because they had the hot brown.
Yeah.
So we were trying to do a hot brown, and then it was closed when we went. It was closed, so we had to just go where we could. It was called the Rick House. Was the name of the restaurant.
Hot brown sounds sexual.
It was very sexual. That's why we wanted to go. It's a very famous Kentucky sandwich.
Okay.
It's called a hot brown. It was the Rick House is where we went.
The Rick House, yes.
I've heard
just
of it, and I've heard good reviews about it.
It was really good.
It was good, and I definitely think we should go back.
We were drunk, so there may be, but you could tell we weren't so drunk we couldn't tell our food was good.
Mm-hmm.
All three of us. The best part was, as we were drinking during the podcast, Tyler kept going to the bathroom, and every time he went to the bathroom, we would refill his Glencairn.
We stayed at a hotel this time.
And so, while
Well, it was
we
just
did,
the three of you.
Yeah, because Brett had a dog issue that year, and so while we did kill the bottle, Tyler probably killed half of the bottle by himself. Wow. And then me and Jeff probably killed the other 2/4, if you will, between the two of us, a fourth each.
I was piss drunk.
He was. He would go to the bathroom and we would top off his drink and we were dying laughing. It was the hardest thing keeping a straight face when he would come back out of the bathroom. And later on that night, were you not like FaceTiming with Jillian and you shared a room with Jeff and you were FaceTiming with Jillian or something?
I don't know. I forgot. Yeah.
Jeff tells the story. It's pretty funny.
I did share it with Jeff.
Because I was supposed to be bunked up with Brett, and he and Jeff were bunked up because him and Jeff know each other better, and I think they were even working together at the time. So, but Brett couldn't come, so I ended up getting a room by myself, and he got a room with Jeff. And so, like, there was something about him FaceTiming Jillian, and he's like in the bag, and Jillian's he's like flirting with her or something, and like Jillian's like not having it because Jeff's in the room with it.
Oh no!
It was something like that. I don't remember for sure, but it was something stupid like that.
Let's ask him.
He's traveling somewhere. All right, so I think we've figured out 3 of these so far. We don't know what's in the 4th one. It's either going to be JD rye, which would make sense because you're JD, or it would be the rare breed rye. And I'm guessing it's the rare breed rye beforehand because I've never had it, but I've never had JD rye either. So you couldn't go wrong with either one. Is that what you were twirling there?
SJ, swirl job.
But is that what you're twirling? Is the next one
Yeah.
the blue cap?
Yep. No, green.
But it's the blue cap. Blue cap, green sticker.
Yeah. Yes. Wax top. So those wax top are from Roger Schaefer's samples he sent me from Texas.
Very nice.
He's got quite the setup.
I like this.
He's the Bourbon Pursuit United ambassador.
He sent you this?
He sent me all the glasses with the wax tops.
Oh,
the
the
samples.
wax. So were those Pursuit United samples?
No, he sent me 24 different samples.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I see numbers on all of them. So
I mean, anything from blackened special release to JT Mellick rice whiskeys.
do you know where blackened is actually aged and matured once it becomes blackened?
It listens to Metallica.
Do you know where?
No.
I do.
It listens to Metallica?
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. They age it or mature it to Metallica specific. Each different blackened release has a different Metallica playlist that it ages to. So
and the bass
the bass
vibrates,
of the music and
the
vibrates,
barrels,
supposedly, kind of like that whole, what is it, Cleveland?
I wonder how often
Cleveland Underground, or what is it that does that up there?
They do some quick aging crap.
But it's bullshit. It's just it's the quick aging bullshit that's not real.
So I will say the Blackened Rabbit Hole Calvados finished bottle is fantastic.
Nice.
So anyway, yeah. So we've got this fourth glass. We've got the green, which would make sense for rye. That's a good label selection for a rye.
This whole blind has gone awry.
Oh, he has the video of it. He actually has the video of you FaceTiming. That's what it was. I knew there was video to it. He just sent us the video. Oh, shit, that's great. I'm not going to watch it yet. So I'll play it here. Oh. Is it funny?
Oh,
should I play it to the
you should.
podcast? All right, here it goes. It's going to go to the podcast. Hold on. All right. Play.
Yeah. You're going to sleep. I don't know. Are you sleeping naked? No. Don't videotape my nipples.
That was it? That wasn't
the FaceTime.
That wasn't the FaceTime, but that was just you. You were so drunk that night. That is so funny. Oh my gosh.
Taping nipples, huh?
Oh man. But anyway, so let's go into this last bottle here. Whew.
That's hot. It's hot. That's stuck in my chest.
Oh, hey, guess what? I get the dill on this one, on the nose. There's some dill on the nose. Just very light.
This distillery is a big dill.
Yeah. So JD brings in the JD. Well, I mean, both of them are big dills.
They're both big dills.
Fucking Wild Turkey and JD. So either one, we can't really go wrong. Neither one's a big dill.
Oh, I just got a heavy dose of dill.
Right?
Wow.
I can't have rye without it unless it's fucking like Michter's and even some of the pumpernickel ryes from Middle West, I get some dill. But theirs is a little more subtle sometimes, so it doesn't bother me too much.
Yeah. I just had this one a few days ago, and it's so much flavor going on.
Definitely a rye.
We should go down and podcast at Jeff's one night.
This would have been the weekend to do it, but he wasn't around.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have done it now that I'm not tethered this weekend. This is good. This is good. This is a good rye. Wow. I don't know enough about Jack Daniel's rye. I've never had a Jack Daniel's rye to know if this tastes like that, and I've never had a Wild Turkey rye to know if this is the rare breed rye. I have no idea which one this is. I do not know. I could not pick this out of a fucking lineup. But I can tell it's a rye. That's the only thing I can tell, that it is a rye.
So is this something you wouldn't mind having on your shelf?
I would probably never choose it, only because of my predilection to not, like, I prefer bourbon.
Yep.
But if someone so this is the way I like to say it. If someone gave me this while I was at their house, I wouldn't be upset with this. This is fine. I'm enjoying it.
So I have this app called Only Drams, and I've got my entire library in here. 10% of my library is rye. 77% is bourbon. 1% Canadian. 4% American whiskey. 0% other.
I don't. So that's just an inventory tracker?
It also gives you a rough estimate of your MSRP for your entire collection, which you don't want to know.
Oh, I have that in my bourbon spreadsheet.
I'm at.
But it's not the MSRP. It's the what I've paid for it.
Okay. This
So
one
every
is
time I buy something, I put it in there, and there's the total is fucking staggering.
21,513.
All right, I haven't put
271 bottles.
I've recently in the last week spent over $500 on bourbon. I have not put any of that in there.
You have?
Yes, and I'll explain why in just a second if that's
Well,
something. My total is $42,402.
for what?
Where the fuck have you just been in the last 10
For the total.
seconds?
For the total of.
Bourbon that I have ever purchased, although this does not, no, this does count my empty totals actually. So this is empties and current stock.
I probably have 500 in empties, so
So this is
Is that
42.
MSRP or what you paid
what
for?
I've paid.
wow.
That's insane.
That's since 2019.
You'd be surprised, Tyler, if you were to put yours in there.
That's 2019. That's 5 years that I've been tracking, and that's less than $10,000 a year. But there have been years that have been over 10,000. I can tell you that right now. Now I've spent over $500 in the last week because I've bought in the last week Wild Turkey 101 12 year. What did I order with that? There was something coming with that, I thought. I'll tell you in just a second. So I'll tell you right now. So today I bought...
Just a second right now.
Today I bought Elijah Craig Barrel Proof A124.
Mm-hmm.
I bought a new small batch 1792 because I was running low on my last one.
RD1.
I bought RD1. And then I bought Traveler recently just to have it.
40.
I bought the James Pepper decanter. I bought a Henry McKenna 10-year bottled and bond.
Why?
Another Elijah Craig.
Why a Henry McKenna 10-year? You have like six.
No, I have one. I
So
have
you had
one.
like six of
I
them.
did, and I hadn't bought anything for like 6 months, and I've been drinking. As I was unemployed, I've been drinking. I have one left.
You went through all of just
I
Henry
did not.
McKenna?
I never had 6 to begin with. First off, so I had like 3, and one of them was already half empty. So I've gone through 1.5 of them. Yes, I went through a span of like a few weeks where I was drinking Henry McKenna, and then I was like, "Oh shit, I only have one left." I stopped.
I have about 1 bottle worth out of 2 bottles left.
That's not it though. I also bought an old Four Roses OESV Private Selection single barrel strength.
You get that off Lorenzo?
No, I bought that off of Sip Whiskey.
Because Lorenzo has a bunch again.
Yeah, well, I have a bunch back there if you didn't look. Because of Lorenzo, 3 of them anyway, or 2 of them. So Wild Turkey 12-year 101 proof, it was $165. That's $30 cheaper than what you're usually going to find it. Four Roses OESV Private Selection single barrel strength 130, so that's a little more than what you'd buy at the... but that's still reasonable.
Yep.
Like it's 105, I think, in the distillery. So that's right there. That is already $400.
Yeah.
And then that doesn't count.
RD1.
So that doesn't even count. I bought Elijah Craig Barrel Proof at Sip Whiskey for $79.99, which is close to MSRP. I think I paid $74 for it today because I bought it in person today. So that right there is another $150. So that's $550 right there. I bought the James E. Pepper Decanter Barrel Proof for $70. So we're at $625.
It's a good price.
Henry McKenna $67. So that's $620. We're at $700 in the last week. And that doesn't even count the small batch. That doesn't even count the small batch 1792. I don't remember. I don't even remember.
40.
Yeah, 35, I think. But still, my point is $700-800 in the last week.
It's easy to do.
It is, and I hadn't bought it. I really hadn't bought anything since our December trip, and then before that, I really hadn't bought anything either because I was unemployed. So I was trying to. I was not spending money on purpose. So I had 2 big surges, December and this week, and that's it. So, and then the Traveler, you had $40. So I'm $800 in the last week and a half
Yeah.
in bourbon. Or whiskey, I should say, because Traveler's not bourbon. All right, so let's rank these. And so first off, the reveal. Were we right on all of our guesses? Maker's Mark for the yellow.
Yep.
Purple is the Wild Turkey
Master's Keep.
1.
Yep.
Toasted, which is 101,
Yep.
right? And then the blue one was the Old Forester Barrel Strength.
Yep.
Okay. And then the green one is it's either rare breed or it's rye or it's the Jack Daniel's rye. I'm going to guess it's the Jack Daniel's rye.
Correct.
I have no reason to think that
Yeah.
because I've never had either one. And I don't know what either one's rye tastes like.
And if you want to try the rare breed.
I probably don't.
Okay.
If I'm going to drink more than that, it's not going to be rye. Even though this Jack Daniel's rye was really good. It was really good.
The Old Forester.
What did you think of the Jack Daniel's rye?
Fantastic.
What was your favorite? How would you rate these tonight before he gets into the
Master's
Old
Keep
Forester?
1 was my favorite.
It was? That was
Yeah.
probably my least favorite in this lineup.
Jack Daniels is my favorite.
Jack Daniels is good, but it just sat in my chest way too
You
long.
had a bad reaction to that, yeah. I would say the Jack Daniels and the Maker's Mark are my 1 and 2. And then I would go Master's Keep 1 and then the Barrel Strength Old Forester.
Maker's Mark is my least favorite just because it's so mellow.
I thought the mellow was the toasted, and it normally isn't, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
I think the
Makers had muted.
the makers made it muted, I think, because of the cinnamon flavor. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah.
I go Jack Daniels, and then I go Old Forester. And because of the way we drank them, I'm going to go Maker's Mark and then Wild Turkey. 4, 3, 1, 2.
Nice.
The Old Forester, by the way, was 125.3 proof.
That's good.
Warehouse G Floor 1 out of Patuxent Wine and Spirits.
Punxsutawney.
Yes, Maryland.
Punxsutawney, Maryland.
And the Jack Daniel's single barrel proof rye was 135.7 proof.
It definitely did not taste like 135 proof. I had no idea.
Ugh, fuck.
That's
I gotta go to bed.
it did not taste like that high of a proof at all.
It has a lot of flavor for 135.
No, it was good. I really enjoyed it. I'm surprised I enjoyed it, but I really enjoyed it.
I think I heard Jack Daniel's is doing a new mash bill for their rye. And that might be
Did
it.
they have an old mash bill for their rye?
No, I don't think so.
So any mash bill they do would be a new mash bill
Correct.
because the rye is a new thing for them, right?
Yes.
I think Jason was able to do a barrel pick of their rye.
Oh, nice. I know in 2020 they did a heritage rye in their heritage barrels.
And then I don't think Bourbon Enthusiast is doing a rye that I'm aware of. But I do believe that I believe Mash and Drum's doing a rye from them, and then I've heard some other people have been doing some ryes, and then they had obviously the ryes that just came out normal, and I think OHLQ did a rye pick for them.
Did they?
With them? I think so.
Okay.
In their big OHLQ barrel weekend, I thought that a rye
okay.
came out.
They may have.
All right, so we did another blind. I think this was a semi-blind. Semi-blind. Is there a band?
Semi-charm kind of
Oh,
life.
Semi-charm kind of life. Yeah. Third Eye Blind.
Third Eye blind.
Yeah, I'm mixing and matching. Whatever. Whatever. So this was a pretty good blind. I enjoyed this, actually. I enjoyed the rye way more than I expected to, even though I knew it.
It's nice to get you to try new things, too.
It is. Especially when it's a rye that I like. There's not a lot of ryes that I like. There are some. Michter's I generally like. Mm-hmm. And for the most part, I like the Middle West Spirits ryes. But most ryes I just don't like. And this was actually a good rye. I enjoyed it. I wonder how much the charcoal filtering, if they still do it on the rye, plays a part in that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I just don't like that overly dill type of, whatever. And I don't know.
But I'm 3 for 3 with ryes with you.
Yeah.
With me?
Yeah.
No, there was a rye you gave us
3
that I
for
didn't
3 for
like.
3.
Probably.
It was like, oh, this is a rye. I could tell right away, remember? And I didn't like it. I don't remember what it was.
That probably happened.
That was a couple weeks ago. I was like, it was the first blind you did for us this year.
Oh, that one?
Whatever that rye was, I was like, that's a rye. That's my last. I didn't like it.
What did I bring?
I don't know.
I don't remember either. We'll have to go back. If you were listening, we're just sitting here in dead space. This is great podcast stuff. But whatever it was the first blind of 2024. That was the episode. It was like 3 or 4 episodes ago. Go back and listen. Help me remember. I'll go back and listen. I'll remember when I'm editing these.
These are the effects of bourbon.
Yeah, when I go back and edit these, which they do get edited, even though that there is one person who has given us a rating of 1 who doesn't believe these are edited.
He did not read.
I'm not going to really give him much credence because he obviously didn't read our description. He said that we spend 10% time on the bourbon at most. Yeah, no shit. That's our point. We don't
That's
spend...
our shtick.
That's our shtick. We don't spend all our time on the bourbon. And if you came here thinking that, then you didn't read our description.
It's all about segues.
It's about segues. It's about living, hanging out with us, drinking while we're talking about bourbon. It's just about learning about us. It's about whatever. And bourbon's part of it. It even says that while drinking bourbon. While drinking bourbon.
Maybe that guy should have appreciated the little moments in life a little more.
It's just frustrating when someone gives you a 1 star when they didn't even read the description, obviously.
Yeah.
That's all. That's frustrating.
Bourbon Hunters, they didn't hunt this episode.
And we hunted for a minute. But
There was no bourbon hunting in this episode.
yeah. There was not. I didn't see a single bottle killed, man. It was crazy. Anyway, thanks for joining in this week, guys. Next week we will. I have no idea what we're planning on next week because this is going to be released on March 7th.
It's your birthday.
Jesus.
March 20th.
Jesus. Anyway, so we're getting to like March 14th territory. I don't even know what we're going to be doing by then. Shit, that's like a whole month away.
March 12th is a Tuesday, so 13th.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're going to want to drink after you open up the course. We should probably plan something for the 12th.
Absolutely.
Evening of the 12th before you go home. On your way home, you stop by here and then go home.
There we go.
I think that's the way to do it.
It works.
I mean, the way I'm
I'll
thinking.
be here.
You'll be here.
It's how I go home every day.
You'll be here at 7:30 after we're done recording.
Yeah.
I'll send you up to my wife's bedroom. It's fine.
Brent, what are you doing in here?
Hey.
Hey.
Hey. Brett, your hands are big. Anyway. All right, guys. See you guys next week. Thank you for joining us on yet another hunt for great bourbon. Please give us a 5-star review anywhere you are listening. But if you can't, leave some constructive criticism in the review so that we can get better at improving our show. Good reviews help us bring better guests on for your listening pleasure, not mine. But until then, sit back, grab a pour, kick up your feet, and enjoy some bourbon.